Lesson 39. Steps of how to hold the violin on your shoulder properly from Learn Violin Fast, Book 1. Step 1. You're going to hold the violin with your left hand. So if you're used to guitar style, you're going to hold the violin. This is my left hand. You're going to support it with the palm on its right side and your thumb under the violin like this. So you're going to hold it like so. Okay. So you're going to hold the violin with your left hand on its right side. You're going to stand nice and tall. Make sure you're nice and relaxed. You're going to wave your right hand. And with your right hand, you're going to find your left collarbone. And then you're going to tap your shoulder. Right? So step 2, actually apologize. Right? 1, you're going to hold the violin. Then you're going to wave your right hand. You're going to tap your shoulder. This is where the shoulder rest or the sponge of the violin will go. Then you're going to find your left collarbone. Collarbone is this bone that goes right from the center in front of you all the way out to your shoulder. You're going to look left. And then we're going to simply put the violin on the collarbone, shoulder rest on the shoulder, and then we're going to lean the head on the violin. So again, reminder from last lesson, your head is always going to look straight ahead in front of you because that's what we do most of the time. So practice right now, look left behind you and relax. See if you can hold this for 10 seconds. Relax, stand up nice and tall, keep looking left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. You'll notice that that's actually quite difficult. So let's go through the steps now with the violin. Securely hold the violin with your left hand on the right side of the violin's body. Wave your right hand, tap your shoulder. This is where the shoulder rest will go. Find your collarbone. This is where the violin will actually rest. So the bottom middle of the violin is actually going to be resting on your collarbone. So you're going to hold the violin, tap your shoulder, your collarbone. You're going to look left. Very important to look left first because if you look straight ahead, your violin most likely will end up here. So remember to look left first. Right? Shoulder, collarbone, look left. Then if you want to hold the violin with your both hands, you can. You can put your right hand to support the violin. So look left. Put the middle of the violin on the collarbone or thereabouts. Look left. Make sure you can feel the shoulder rest on your shoulder. If you're holding the violin properly, your violin will look in approximately the same direction as your left shoulder. You'll notice how my left shoulder, my left foot is facing the camera and I'm looking left. You can see the shoulder rest is clearly, properly on the shoulder. This is not proper. Again, if you feel like this is what you're doing, your head is in front of you and the violin is in the center of your chest and not over the shoulder and collarbone looking left. So if you have a good shoulder rest or even with the sponge and you're properly holding the violin, you should be able to hold the violin with just your head. Make sure you're careful, safety first. So let's go through those steps one more time. Hold the violin. You can secure it with the right hand. You're going to look left, tap your shoulder, tap your collarbone, support the violin if you need to. Put the violin in the collarbone. You should actually feel it in the collarbone. You should feel the shoulder rest on the shoulder. Look left. Gently put your chin on the chin rest, leaning your head on the violin, and that is the proper professional violin position. One small note, because we're jamming this wooden box that we call the violin, let me show you from the side, because we're putting this wooden block in your neck, naturally your head will go backwards. So very common, one of the most common mistakes is to learn the violin this way, especially if we're trying to see what the bow of the left fingers is doing. So just remind yourself that once the violin is on the collarbone, shoulder rest on the shoulder, look left, lean your head back. This will feel very strange at first because you have this musical instrument in your neck, but it's very important to make sure your head is straight. Do you know what tells your brain and your body about your balance? And this is why proper violin position is so important. What tells your brain about whether you're up, down, on an angle, on a slope, laying down, or moving on a rough terrain? Do you know? If you answered ears, you're absolutely correct. So our ear system or our ears actually is the sensor that tells our brain about our location. So when your head is tilted, when you play the violin in the wrong way, our entire information about our balance is off. So even though it's going to feel like you're leaning back, believe it or not, when you just tilt your head back a tiny bit, our head is actually straight. So part of the good left hand position is not only to have the violin in the collarbone, shoulder rest on shoulder, and to look left, making sure that the chin is over the chin rest, but to slightly lean the violin, the head on the violin. So if you think of it as your head is resting, a little bit even slightly to the left, that's much better than to the right. So make sure your neck is nice and relaxed, you're engaging your core, you're standing tall, your back is arched, your shoulders are nice and loose, and your head is leaning back, your head is looking left. So this is, you'll notice how my torso is facing the camera, but my head is looking left, my violin's over the shoulder, and if I turn to the right, you'll notice how my torso now is facing straight ahead, and my shoulder is facing the violin. So those are the steps to properly hold the violin, and the most common mistakes, and the reason why those mistakes are so difficult not to do. But now that you know what we're used to, what you're naturally going to do, you're going to relax, you're going to remind yourself to look left and lean your head back, making sure you have the perfect position to not only make beautiful music, but also be comfortable and not be in pain when you play and learn violin. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.